Salutations everybody, it is Matty here today, and of course I've been playing Skyrim Anniversary Edition for the last number of days, and I'm excited to take a seat now and finally talk about a game that's near and dear to many of our hearts, even though Bethesda continues to really wring us dry. We got another version here. This time it's Anniversary Edition. It comes with a next-gen enhancement, a lot of free content, and some of it is paid for. So what we're going to do is sort of split this up a little bit. We're going to start off with the free stuff that you can get right now. If you own Skyrim Special Edition, you can download it. There's a free patch, and then boom, you got some of the new content. So let's start off with that, and then we'll shift into the paid for content. So first things first, if you are currently owning Skyrim Special Edition, you can download a next-gen update. And I'm just going to tell it to you straightforward. This thing's kind of underwhelming, especially if you're like me and I was playing on Xbox doing a fresh save file. You already had FPS boost with Special Edition over on Xbox, so that's not really a notable next-gen enhancement. That will affect more so the PlayStation audience. However, one thing that I did pick up on, and of course this is to be expected with a game that first released in 2011, is the load times are much quicker. When you were in the Skyrim load screens, that was the time to check your phone, or you just goof off with the 3D models, rotate them, zoom them in, blow them up, all that stuff. Now it's just in a snap, so fast travel, all that stuff is really quick. That's nice to see, but otherwise, enhanced textures, all that stuff, not really there. And I found that really underwhelming, and it's why Bethesda... What I was saying was I found it quite underwhelming that Bethesda was very light on details, and now we know why they weren't talking much on the next-gen enhancements. So don't expect too much crazy stuff there, especially if you are already on Xbox. And if you're on PC, none of this will matter to you. You already have mods. Let's talk about the new content that's being added, though, into Skyrim Special Edition via this free update. One of those pieces of content is survival mode. I really like this edition. Right off the bat, it asks you if you want to turn it on. Unlike Fallout New Vegas, where once you turn it on, you cannot turn off hardcore mode, in this game, you can turn it on and off to your heart's desire. The thing that it really changes is, of course, fast travel. You can't do that, but that kind of works for Skyrim because there's tons of carriages that can take you all over the holds of the lands. And I really like that because it made it where travel wasn't as intimidating. I just had to keep it within a certain hold. You also have to manage your warmth, your character's hunger, their thirst, their rest, all that good stuff. And it gave Skyrim a new look and feel. And of course, enemies are a little bit tougher. This brings in the idea of rubber banding. So Bethesda open worlds typically do this. This means if you venture out to a high level area, they're going to kick your ass until you're of the right level. But what I really liked in this was that the difficulty is there from the onset. So right as you exit the gate, things are a lot tougher and you got to really pay attention. But they also added another free mechanic that I think will work well with this mode: fishing. You're going to need to feed yourself. So, of course, with Skyrim Special Edition, having fishing there to get food, cook it, and there's even quests tied to it was really nice to see. Now, don't expect a very complex fishing mini game here. It's just a matter of a couple of vibrations, and then boom, you reel it in when you press A. And that's all there is to it. You'll sometimes find armor, weapons out there, and oftentimes you'll find fish. And there are quests to find very specific fish. On top of that, there's Rare Curios, which gives you new items in the storefronts. And then there are Saints and Seducers, which is this wide-spanning, huge quest line, which was really impressive. And that's what leads me into some of the paid content, because I want to bridge the gap there. Some of the Creation Club content here, I would have never paid the $8, $10, $15 Bethesda was asking, but for a combined $20 price for the upgrade, by the way. We're looking at this from the perspective of someone who, I got the Game Pass version of Skyrim Special Edition, and I updated it for $20 to this paid version, which gave me all of the Creation Club content. Keep in mind, if you're a Game Pass user, though, I shouldn't say $20. It's at the special discounted price of $18, which I know falls into their 10% bargain bin, but I'm just saying, special discounted price and it's $2 less. I don't know. But anyway, if you're on Xbox, 18 bucks. If you're on PlayStation, you upgrade for 20. Otherwise, it's separate for $50 and you can buy it via retail. So some of this new content here was surprising. One of my favorites was Forgotten Seasons. And I entered this dungeon. It was this long Dwemer ruins, and it really wasn't impressive until I got to the second half of it, where I found out that there is this sky orchestrator that's causing actual weather within a Dwemer ruin. And I actually got to explore this ruin in a completely different way. One of the ways was, for example, taking a spider control rod and telling that spider where to go and having them interact with objects in the world. That's something you never do in the rest of the Skyrim dungeons. So to me, as a Skyrim fanatic, someone who loves playing this game over and over, even though it's been quite a while, about 4 years or so since I've done a true full playthrough, I really was pleasantly surprised to see, hey, there's a new way to play a quest line here. A lot of the items that you'll be getting, though, are alternative looks to already existing items. So you'll go to the blacksmith and you'll start working on the forge, and you'll see that you'll have your iron armor, your dwarven armor, all that stuff, but they have alternate looks to them that you can craft. So just know a lot of the new content is flavor-based. There is stuff that you can find and loot, but just like as you'd expect in Creation Club content, it's over in a flash. So you'll go to a tower, kill a couple of enemies, you'll find a piece of chest armor on the floor, boom, you're done. Not everything is like Forgotten Seasons, and there's a reason why Bethesda listed Ghosts of Tribunal, The Cause, and more, right? They always did the and more. It's because beyond these two headlining pieces of content, there isn't really much there that's going to blow you away. There's no secrets tucked away in here that went, oh my God, they didn't even market this. Everything of significance that Bethesda wanted to show you to try to sell this to you, they already did. So just know if you're going into this, there's really going to be no secret surprises for Skyrim Anniversary Edition. And depending on how much of a fan you are of this content, that could be good or bad. I thought it was cool, for example, that with Ghosts of Tribunal, it expanded what the Dragonborn DLC was. That is only accessible by going to Raven Rock. And I thought that was something that was unexpected. So to me, that was great to see. But then you also have quests like The Cause. The Cause is a level 40 plus quest line, and you're not going to unlock it until then. So the way they've weaved some of this content in, I like it. They don't slap you with all of it right off the bat. Some of it unlocks level 5, level 12. You get little letters from couriers, as per Skyrim loves to deliver all those quest lines. So that was nice to see. I also want to shout out farming. I mentioned how you had fishing, you had survival mode. Farming is a really cool staple of that, although farming kind of gets kneecapped because you can't fast travel, so you can't go to your farmstead quickly. So unfortunately, you'll have to take a carriage to near your farmstead and walk there whenever you want more food. You can actually hire a steward to then bring to your farm to take care of things there. And I overall thought this was a really cool expansion of an idea that was supplemental for Skyrim, which was building homes, having player homes, and then really adding to it with another piece of flavor. So there's a Stardew Valley vibe to Skyrim where you can just peacefully farm. And it's as simple as taking items from your inventory and gifting them and putting them into the ground, and they'll grow pretty quickly. So there's not this attention to detail and caring, getting water and really nurturing your plants. It's nothing crazy expansive. Not that anyone would really expect that, but just know it is what it is in the most simple terms, but I don't think that's really a bad thing. Now, one thing I almost forgot to interject here that is extremely important to know is this may look and feel like official DLC coming from Bethesda, but it does not sound that way. What I mean by that is just keep in mind that all of the Creation Club content that involves questing, interacting with other characters, does not have brand new lines recorded for it. And I feel like when you're paying a price of admission, this should be expected. And while I know we have separate expectations for Creation Club, I found this to be a bit of a bummer, and it stands out like a sore thumb. You know, some of those JRPGs you play where you're a silent protagonist and your character's just nodding their head along the whole adventure, and other characters are saying things for your character, going like, oh, you mean you want to do X, Y, and Z? Okay, let's do that, even though all your character did was nod his head up and down. That's what's happening here. You'll see them reuse lines throughout the entire base game of Skyrim and try to be crafty by plugging and playing them, but it never feels quite right. It feels very out of place, and it can be not frustrating, but again, it stands out like a sore thumb. It's not the end of the world, but it's something you absolutely will notice and should be on alert for. What you have here is a lot of little pieces of content, little pieces of loot, new dungeons, some of them multi-layered and expansive. Like I said, Forgotten Seasons is a strong example of how expansive this content can be, because I was in there for about 3.5 hours. It's a really big dungeon, so it can add some meat to your game at the end of the day. And I found myself, as a big Skyrim fan, really enjoying some of the new stuff that was here, but I also understand I'm in the position of being extremely nostalgic for this game. I understand that it just tickles the fancy right there, and actually I don't want to word it like that. That sounds dirty. It scratches the right itch. It always calls my name, and of course there's a lot of history there that makes me remember it fondly. So any excuse to go back to Skyrim is a good one for me. But at the end of the day, when you look at the free content that's there, I think that was awesome. I think what is added there for free is actually surprisingly some of the best and most useful stuff there. You can play Skyrim in a different way with survival mode, which is free. You can enjoy a new mechanic as a part of survival mode, fishing, because it's free. And then, of course, the next gen updates, not the best, but fast load times are always much appreciated in today's day and age. So that's nice to see as well. To me, the more free stuff impressed me beyond the paid stuff. And the paid stuff is for suckers like me who just want more Skyrim. And if you're already on PC, let me just tell you again, do not buy. But if you're on consoles, I think PlayStation fans are going to benefit from this one the absolute most. You get to see this game better visually, better in frame rate, and of course the better loading times. A lot of it is there. That next gen enhancement is good for you. Of course, the new content is also great for PlayStation fans because console mods there aren't that good. But if you're on Xbox already, it's really a tough sell too. Again, with that special discounted price of $18, it's really up to you how much you want to get absorbed back into Skyrim, because Skyrim, it's a bit of a commitment, and unless you already have a save file there, which you can carry over, by the way, you will not be able to just pick up and play this content right away. Some of it you've got to work towards, which was, I thought, good to see, but not everyone's in the mood for a full playthrough. So just keep that in mind as well if you are looking to buy into this. At the end of the day, it's not the worst thing in the world. It didn't blow me away, but it left me very satisfied, and I was happy to go back to Skyrim. I was happy to explore and see this new content, but I also, again, understand I have a very skewed perspective on this. I love Skyrim. It was the #1 building block to this channel before anything else. So yeah, of course, I'm going to enjoy it, but I also can see why a lot of consumers wouldn't be fond of this. And I would say, unless you have a real hankering for Skyrim, you can safely hold off and know you're not missing anything mind-bending. But what is there is good. So if you do want to indulge, yeah, this is a good time. Just know that some of the later game content, some of the big stuff they were marketing, will take you some leveling up to get to. So a fresh save file may not always be ideal. Of course, if you're looking at this from the perspective of someone who has never played Skyrim, and I know people watching my channel are like, what? People like that exist? Yes, they do, believe it or not. If you're looking at this as someone who's never played Skyrim before, the base game, you're looking at that, plus the DLC, plus the Creation Club content, all in one. Just know you need an internet connection to access the Anniversary Edition content. It does not come on disc. But if you're looking at it from that perspective, this is a, I think, valuable package. Again, from the very specific perspective of someone who's brand new and has never played it before, this would be great for you. But my suggestion would also be, just if you're on Xbox, download it via Game Pass, upgrade for 20 bucks, save yourself the 30 bucks, go put it somewhere else. But anyway, that's all I really have to say about Skyrim Anniversary Edition in this video. Overall, not bad. So let me know what you're thinking about this new content in the comments down below. Certainly looking forward to your thoughts, so do fire away. Other than that, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Those links are in the description down below. And a big thank you to all the patrons, all the members who continue to support the hell out of the content here. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.